on this today's episode, a number of topical events caught our attention, but the most pressing issue is the Hausa Yoruba clash in Shasha that has led to loss of lives, destruction of properties worth millions, and of course, and destabilize the economic and financial activities in the area of Oyo State. Just when Nigerians are still, grappling with the killings and insecurities in the southern western region, particularly in Oyo State, like I said earlier, another saga of killing, burning of properties, and disruption of peace is surfacing in Ibadan area of the same state. So Nigerians, I'm still puzzled as to when will this series of unrest stop, and when will we value each other's lives? What will it cost to restore the peace and unity amongst us? To discuss this event and surrounding issues is a security expert. He is a consultant and a practitioner based in Nigeria. He's a member of the American Society for Industrial Security since 1993. He is Oladeinde Ariyo. Again, welcome, Oladeinde. Many thanks for joining me via our phone lines today. It's great to have you on the show. How are you doing, sir? How have you been keeping safe?
Sorry, I couldn't be there physically, right? It's the traffic. So next time, I promise you I'll be there.
All right. Did you get that? I think I lost him a little bit.
Hello, I'm with you.
All right, sir. Yeah. So he could have been in the studio with us, but Nigerian traffic. Hey, God, especially Lagos traffic to be precise. So, Mr. Oladeinde, going straight to the point, to the discourse of today. I know Shasha market has been a melting pot for traders, bringing foodstuff from the north to the southwest for decades. And a statement from the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo describing long years of peaceful coexistence and even intertribal marriages. It puzzled the mind. What triggered this ethnic clash?
Thank you very much. Yeah, there are so many narratives, but the truth that stood out clearly is one that talked of a Yoruba woman who had the frontage of her store messed up with rotten tomatoes by an Hausa trader. And when she called his attention to the fact that she wouldn't want the tomato, the man started beating her. Now, and somebody was standing by, and they tried to intervene, querying why the Hausa man should be beating the pregnant woman. The Hausa man struck him with a charm, and then the man died. And that started the fight. The second conspiracy theory, which I wouldn't say is not true, is the fact that there has been superiority challenges there between the Hausa and the Yoruba. To the extent that when you see the palace of the Seriki against the palace of the Bale, you will see that there's a difference, really. As much as I teach peaceful coexistence, I think we should begin to pay attention to strangers now coming to live within our communities and setting up their own hegemonic monarchy, okay, which usually ends up subsuming the existing order of things. Ordinarily, the Bale should have been a superior voice in that community. This good Yoruba land. So everywhere you go, you see Soliki outside there, Ezekiel, and all of that. I think it's high time a permanent stop is put to all of these things. If you come into a community, whatever system they have in place, whatever law they have in place, to be good enough for you to align yourself with, and then it becomes a lot easier to manage interpersonal conflicts. So I think this was what happened in the case of Shasha market. Yes, there's been a long record of peaceful coexistence and of chasing. I must tell you that foodstuffs are cheapest in Shasha market. Between Shasha and the market, for instance, you can buy a basket of tomato for 700 naira. By the time it gets to there, it might go as high as 1,500 naira. So let's understand the importance of that market, both to the universe and then to the outside community. But I think at this point, again, the crisis around Nigeria between the herdsmen and the Yoruba people too might have also lent its hand, okay, to igniting the fire or stoking the fire. Thank you very much.
All right, many thanks for that, and I'm glad that you actually touched on it, saying that what's it called, that the fight between the Yoruba and the herdsmen in the states was fragile enough to trigger the Hausa Yoruba clash, because there are quite a number of stories behind this. And of course, I can't help but ask, because the perpetrators of killings, abduction in Ibarapa, I hope I pronounced that well, Ibarapa area of Oyo State, are yet to be brought to book. So the question now is, can we say that is the reason the Yoruba people were quick to unleash fire and war on the northerners in the area? Or what do you think of this argument?
Thank you very much. Well, from all that I've said and from all that I heard through different platforms, I can tell you that it was the death of the man who tried to intervene, okay, in the fracas that angered Yorubas. That, look, you have just killed somebody overboard, okay? Unfortunately, I won't take it away completely from the fact that there was tension already on ground across the southwest regarding the conduct of southerners who are here, either as traders or herdsmen or whatever. So that definitely must have lent some credence to it. But however, nationally, we are having a serious case of division now along ethnic lines. And I can tell you straight away, Nigeria has never been this divided. Neither has
all right. We just lost that. I think it's important for me to also use this opportunity to open our phone lines. Please, if you have any questions for us, or if you want to join us by contributing to this conversation, you can reach us on 0700 923 923 923. And of course, you can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0817 313 6193. Let's hear your perspective of the topic at hand. If you have any comments, if you have any queries for our suggestion, please be part of this topic at hand, and let's all debate it together, because it's, we are all in it together. Stanley, what do you think of all these things that is happening globally, especially now that Oyo State, we have a lot of clash going on right there, regarding this herdsmen and the Yoruba people, that has led to the Northerners and Yoruba people clashing?
Well, it's sad looking at it from from this angle, where it should have been avoidable, But the thing about insecurity in Nigeria is, I think our leaders they know what we need to do. They know how to stop this, and I think it's something that they can do, and there's no doubt about that we have we have what it takes to stop this criminals in our society, these criminal elements in our society. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is according to a news story I heard this morning, they said, look, it will take a lot. It's not going to happen a day, or it will take some time for them to really clear out these elements from the society. But we're waiting for that to happen. And how long would that take? We don't know, but we want something done immediately as citizens. That's what we are looking out for. Something that we can fall back and say, okay, fine, we can sleep now comfortably every night without worrying about who's at my backyard, who's going to my farm, who's eating my crops, and all of that. So it's going to take time. We all wanted the service chiefs change. Now we have new service chiefs. What are we expecting from them? We expect a lot from them. consider the fact that we've had this for like years now, but we want something different. That's why we voted them in power in the first place, because they promised us something different. So that's where we are.
You're absolutely right, Stanley. And many thanks for that submission, and of course taking our minds back to when the campaign period when they wanted to come into power. So Mr. Oladeinde, I must ask you, many including Ariyo Fayose have praised the intervention of the Oyo State Governor on the matter, who visited the scene with Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, and the dividend of that leadership have positive effect, if I must say, because a similar action from President Buhari would have perhaps, I stand to be corrected, changed the narrative on the herdsmen crisis. Don't you think so? If something like that had occurred and we found the head of state visiting the location of the crime and trying to talk to the people, don't you think that there might be some level of positive effect to how people will behave going forward?
Thank you very much. It's been rather very unfortunate that in several situations that demanded immediate intervention of the president, either by way of a visit or by national broadcast or through a media release, they've never been forthcoming. Or when they will come, things will have gotten to a head, damages will have been done, lives will have been lost. Just like we've had other cases, the people will be begging the president to please say something, to intervene.
All right, Mr. Ariyo, I'm sorry I might have to interrupt your call. We have a caller on the line. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? All right, we lost that. Hello?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay, so in this situation, the issue of herdsmen, farmers didn't start yesterday. It's been with us for a while. But the last 6-7 years is taking a very dangerous turn. And almost every day we get media reports, either through newspaper, television, or radio. Okay, and of course the social media too. It has been very helpful. But each time this thing comes up, nobody says nothing. It took the intervention of a regular indigene in the Barapa before real attention will now be focused on this issue. Again, it was after then that Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State, came out to issue what was like an ejection notice. Especially for those of them in the forest who are the ones being fingered as the villains, in the killing, the kidnapping, and farm destruction. And you and I know that nature abhors a vacuum. So to the extent that there was leadership vacuum, there was no coordination, and things were just happening very haphazardly. Unfortunately, between then and now, more governors, like the Baptist governor, they've thrown more spanner in the works by saying that the herdsmen, they are at liberty to mind their cows using AK-47. You want to ask, how much is the profit from cows that they could afford an expensive weapon as AK-47? And of course, the damages, the destructions that people have suffered, nobody has been talking of compensation for them. You will see that when the governor from Kebbi got to Ibadan yesterday, immediately he released money that they should be giving 100,000 naira, each of them that suffered losses there who are from the state. But nobody so far has done that in the Southwest. And within a space of 3 to 4 weeks, we had massive reported cases in Ogun State, in Ibarapa, Oyo State, in Osun, in Odo, almost everywhere, which has now brought the issue to the front burner. But in all of this, you want to ask yourself, animal pastoral is a private business. Animal herding is a private business. How come it has been allowed to now become such a serious issue that is tugging at the soul of our country? Since this thing started, we've not had any meaningful conversation about development, economy, growth, and all of that. But it's all about animals. And I can tell you from my own standpoint that most of the state actors are playing to the gallery, trying to be politically correct. The truth is, there is nowhere in the world where open grazing is allowed. It's not done. And the earlier this is brought about, and then they know that, look, I'm not against you doing your business, but when your business becomes inimical to my peace, my business, my progress, and my life, we will not tolerate that. Therefore, anyone who wants to herd animal should go back to wherever he came from and let the state government support them to go into ranching. In the order of countries that export meat and yogurt and milk, Nigeria is not any rank. Those well-ranked countries, they don't do open grazing. They all have ranches. And if you go back to history, the first ranch in Nigeria was even before independence. That was the Ubudukatu ranch, followed by the one that was established in Akunu, in Ondo State. And there were several all over the country. But the military rule came, and then instead of keeping the business going, they were slaughtering the cows and eating them. So they ate them up. So I will insist now, if you want peace and progress, that anyone who wants to graze animal or herd cattle should go to a ranch. Because when people plant things and it is harvest time, perhaps after 6 months, 9 months or 12 months, you bring your animals overnight. You eat up what they have spent the whole year preparing. I mean, it's not done. At the altar of playing to the gallery, we're all Nigerians here. Because someone says you can live and operate anywhere in Nigeria. I agree. But it is not sacrosanct and it can be abrogated. Okay? When your presence there threatens public order, public peace, or public comfort, or you're creating is inimical to their progress, then it has to be checked. So that's where we are now. And it's beginning to look like we have a civil war at our doorsteps.
All right. Ariyo, I hear you. You know, I must say that talking about different states, talking about security and operations and the likes and all of that, I think I should bring you back home. When I mean home, I mean Lagos, where you and I reside, even though you're at the border of Lagos and Ogun State. You know, it's quite a disappointment to see every armed policeman at the Lekki. Okay, I think we have a caller on the line. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your contribution today? What's your name?
My name is Abiola, and I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Okay, can you please reduce the volume of your radio set, please?
Yes, I've done that.
All right, many thanks.
You see, the truth of it, if there's going to be peace and unity, Mr. President should take action. But forgetting that he's from a Fulani man, that has no meaning to me. We're all Nigerians, and we should be treated equally. But the moment that one ethnic believe that they are superior to other one, there will be conflict. Today we have Igbo man, we have Yoruba man, we have Hausa man. Why? Do you understand? And if you start outside Nigeria, you carry Nigerian passport. Green, white, green. And none of the leaders is taking it seriously. You saw what is happening in Niger State now. Nobody is talking. This is not affecting any of the leadership or leaders and what have you. The masses face this problem every day. This afternoon, as I was driving down to Aobanikoro, my car stopped. The next thing I saw some guys coming around me with my wife. Then I was helpless. You understand? What can I do? What can I do? They said I must give them 10,000 naira. Before man and God, I have to cover 2,900. The last money in my pocket so that I can go, because they can wound me, they can shoot me, they can do anything. And before police or anybody comes, I will have gone. So that is the state. It's an emergency thing, and nobody is thinking of it. Do you know how many lives that were lost on daily basis in Lagos? And nobody cares. And another thing is, let there be a national conference to talk about the unity of Nigeria. How do you want us to work? The Buhari-led government should rise up to occasion, Look at all the community that they have written during Jonathan, during Obasanjo, and what have you. Discuss them. Engage the national, the senators and the rest. Let them take 5 months, 6 months to discuss it. The way forward. Otherwise, one day is coming, I pray it won't happen, that you just begin to hear the sound of gun and it will be a civil war.
All right, many thanks, Ojo Abiodun. You know, I can feel your pain, and I know that this is what quite a number of people are going through on a daily. You know, and Mr. Ariyo, this brings me to another question I need to ask you, because it's very disappointing to hear reports like the feedbacks like this, that where sometimes it seems as if we shy away from it daily, or we just have a way of this coping mechanism or how to deal with these things on a daily basis. You know, the heavy armed policemen at the Lekki toll gate, and we don't find this same security operative at Shasha till the crisis led to arson, so to speak, destruction of lives and properties. What kind of duty do they actually respond to exactly, if I may ask?
Well, before we go to Shasha, on Thursday last week,
yes,
there was a massive crisis between different factions of a national road transport workers union, and they were unleashing mayhem on the entire neighborhood up until Saturday. No police or security presence was seen around that area. While that was going on, they were able to amass.
All right, Mr. Ariyo, please hold that thought. Do not forget, we have a caller on the line. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, please.
My name is Uzo. I'm calling from Summer.
Okay, can you please reduce the volume of your radio set?
It's down already. Is it booming?
All right, please go ahead.
Okay. On the topic, I want to say that what is happening and the solution is not, as they will say, rocket science. One, in Nigeria today, or anywhere, whenever there is no justice, there can never be peace. In the country as it is currently wired, there is a different judicial system for different sets of people. And the outcome is also different because there's no consequence management. Someone from a certain part of the country can come and commit murder and go scot-free. There's no consequence. Then the same offense committed by another person will attract maximum sentence. Detail what happens between the political class when you have a case for someone that moved billions. He has not been sentenced. It's been going on for 10 years. But the pickpockets will, I'm not justifying crime there. Somebody will beat them and I guess the maximum sentence. So we really need to start addressing the issue between the herders and the farmers. In law, they say everybody to go back to what they maintain status quo and take.
All right. You know, many thanks for all that. Mr. Ariyo, in 1 minute before I go on a break, do you have anything to say to that?
Yes. Like I said earlier, there was a vacuum of leadership that led all of this thing. And in the case of Lekki, there was needless police presence and show of force. If I was involved in managing that situation, it would have been done otherwise. And nobody would have been arrested. There would have been no need. They would have had their protest and would have maintained sanity effortlessly. Of course, maybe another day we can discuss that. So, what has really brought this crisis to this point is the lethargic attitude from the presidency. At the time when we expected to hear the father of the nation to talk, he wasn't talking. Instead, there were voices from his spokesperson, some odd and other state actors, just throwing more bullets into the fire. And then we got to where we are.
All All right. Many thanks, Mr. Ariyo, for your insights into the matter at hand. We will go on a quick break and return after headline.